On Thursday, September 5, 2019, a small group of environmental activists held a rally near the office of the Consulate General of Brazil in Atlanta. This action was to bring awareness to the devastating Amazon fires that are currently burning in Brazil. Toward the end of the rally, the ambassador, on his way to lunch, approached the crowd and was critically questioned about his views. These activists are too well informed for fake news.
Stop the ignorance! Stop the greed! Stop the fires! That's what we need! Stop the ignorance! Stop the greed! Stop the fires! That's what we need!
Here with the Sierra Club standing up in support of indigenous communities in Brazil, in the Amazon, who are calling for an end of the land grab that's been allowed by Bolsonaro and the corporations who are essentially trying to steal all this land for ranching, for factory farming. We want to make sure that these indigenous communities are protected, are supported from across the globe. So that's why we're standing up here on September 5th, this International Day of Action, to stand, to support the Amazon and to stop the fires.
What are you doing out here today?
So the Amazon is on fire, and it is urgent, obviously, because it's releasing a huge amount of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere that was previously stored in the ground. It's also affecting the ecosystem, obviously, and indigenous rights and sovereignty are being trampled on. And I am here to stand in solidarity with those people that are protecting the place that they live and protecting the treasure that is the Amazon for the rest of us.
We're trying to bring as much attention as we can to the Bolsonaro's regime, mass atrocities in the Amazon, their clearing of land for livestock, their oppression of the indigenous people, their thefts and their violations of international and Brazilian treaties.
The rainforest is burning. If that isn't the biggest sign of climate catastrophe, I don't know really what is. Rainforest is one of the more natural beauties of the world, and since that's burning, once it's burned, it'll be a desert, and the creatures that are living there won't have a home anymore, and they'll be extinct. So we got to be a voice for all the creatures and the native people that are still there, because they're being toppled.
You're one of the old folks out here.
Yes,
You're
that's
one
right.
of the old folks.
Been here for a while.
What are you doing out here with these kids?
Well, we're just very encouraged that there are so many younger people, but we've got to keep going because the situation is more dire and serious than it's ever been, including environmental issues like the burning of the Amazon. And today that the administration, if they can be called that, said they're going to rescind the regulations on energy efficient light bulbs. One more step in the wrong direction.
What do you see as the median age of a person in this movement?
Extinction Rebellion is all ages, from middle schoolers to parents to college students to older folks who have been fighting this fight for a long time. And I think that's just representative. There's a place for everyone in this movement, and we need to change everything, right? We need everyone. And so we need everyone's talent, their networks, their energy, and frankly, their bodies, to put their bodies on the line.
Well, I know that we seem to be going through a generational shift where activists out of the 60s are getting older and are not able to get out on the streets as much as they used to. And how do you think that you could incorporate these people?
That's a great question. So, as a part of Extinction Rebellion, we have local affinity groups and at the neighborhood level. And so you can get involved at your neighborhood level, get involved with one of these groups, and there are so many roles to be played, from making art to even in the context of a direct action. There are people that are willing to be arrested. There are people that are on standby for jail support. There's organizing work that needs to be done. There is, for instance, if you're a teacher, right, you can tell your students about the climate strike. You can choose to climate strike in solidarity with them. And for older folks, just get in touch. We'll put everybody to work.
In the Amazon, we're basically out here to say we're standing with the indigenous communities of the Amazon, that their rights need to be protected, their land needs to be saved for themselves. Their land is their life, it's their livelihood, it's their home, and it is not the right of these corporations and the government to take that land and to destroy the Amazon, which is also a life preserver, a life giver for the entire world. We've always heard the Amazon is the lungs of our globe, of our earth, and we're calling on the government of Brazil to heed that call and to stop these fires and to protect the indigenous communities.
May I say something?
Yes, please.
Yeah, please.
Well, listen, Brazil is fully committed with the protection and the sustainable development of the Amazon, together with other 8 countries of South America, right? Because the Amazon is in 8 countries of South America, not only Brazil. 60% is in Brazil, but we do the best we can. But let me tell you something. These spots of fire, they are about the average, in terms of number, it's the average of the last 15 years. It happens every year. Now, the largest operation to prevent fires and deforestation happened last June. June 2019, before the fires made the headlines. See, now at present we have 45,000 troops, federal troops in the Amazon, working together with firefighters, local police, and so on and so forth, to stop these spots of fire. Now, spots of fire went down 50% since May 15th. Yeah, but the fact.
80% more. What about your president's rhetoric?
Look,
Explicitly encouraging. Can you speak to that?
That is absolutely. Look. I strongly advise you to read the Brazilian press, because see, they're playing a very important role in clarifying matters. It's absolutely free and independent. Our president is fully committed with all this to prevent fires in the Amazon, like every single Brazilian.
What's also free and accessible is photos from the sky.
I know, yeah, and some of
the facts are there.
But
There's nothing to be turned around.
No, there's nothing to turn around. And please, take your time. Just Google and go NASA.
It says it's 40% larger than it's ever been.
Look, there's so many sources of information. But go to NASA.
That's right.
Go to NASA. What they say is in line with, absolutely with the average of the last 15 years. Now, there are all sorts of data.
I apologize. The source was Brazil's National Institute for Space Research.
But when was
They said it was 40% larger than it's ever been.
No, but that's not correct.
That's what it says from your National Institute.
But I don't know where you get in this info
Brazil's
from.
National Institute
I don't know if
for
it's
Space
recent.
Research.
I don't know. But listen, there's this thing.
May I ask you a question?
Sure.
Am I wrong when I read that under the current government, there's been a cutback in funding for enforcement and repeal of regulations that would protect the Amazon?
You're absolutely wrong. The thing is that, deforestation has been increasing for the last about 3 years. What we need to do on the ground is to figure out what's going on to stop this. That's why we have 45,000 federal troops now in the Amazon. See, thank you for coming. Thank you for allowing me to make this clarification. And I'll let my government know that I talked to you. You expressed your concern. Thank you so much. Okay.
Yes. So, Kenya, we just want to implore you to send a message to, the President Bolsonaro, that the message here from America, from Atlanta, Georgia, and specific, is we believe independent monitoring of the Amazon has shown that these fires have been allowed by the government and the corporations have been have been taking these lands. We've been hearing from indigenous communities within the Amazon who are countering this story. We understand you have your own point of view. I think there's a different point of view that we're trying to share. We just ask that you share that with the president, and that there's an entire global community that is fighting to save the Amazon, and that certainly Bolsonaro has the power to stop what is happening now, and we call on him to do so, and to essentially remove any sort of land takeovers by corporations and private interests. And if that's what we would love to see happen.
There are no corporations taking off over the Amazon. I don't know where you got this from.
We've been hearing reports about our corporations here in the United States that have played a role in that. I understand that. So we've been hearing independent information about the actions of our corporations in the United States. Cargill is one of those corporations. There are other corporations that have played this role. We want to call on the president to make sure that he eliminates any sort of clear burning, clear cutting, any sort of land grabs of all the Amazon, and essentially allow the Amazonian communities, the indigenous people, to return to their land, to make sure all the fires are put out. There's water in Brazil. Let's use it to stop these fires, and we don't need to keep arguing about what the cause is, but we know you can stop them pretty quickly. So.
Yeah, in the dry season, it's not so easy to prevent fires, as you know, here in America. But of course, we do whatever we can as a nation with our limited resources. But we do.
I understand.
But listen, the U.S. government and the U.S. corporations really are giving us full support to protect the Amazon. I don't know where you got this info from. I respect you.
Yeah, there's a lot of independent organizations that have been monitoring the Amazon for decades, and they're known to be reputable sources. There's no question about their data. So we have. That's the understanding we have. That's the understanding the global community has, and that's what we ask for you to share with the government.
Is to, if you can, I don't know if you can read, understand Portuguese, but really try use more the Brazilian press.
Yes, like Brazil Wire, which reported that Bolsonaro said that there wouldn't be an acre of land forest left once he got elected.
I don't know.
Or about y'all having to fire the head of y'all aeronautics industry because he was reporting on the expansion of the fires. So Bolsonaro directly ordered for him to be fired.
Oh my God.
And
look, listen. Sorry. I cannot prevent you from defending your views and using your sources of information. I cannot prevent you that, but I can assure you that this is wrong. This is. I can assure. Well, that's what I told you. Go. We have so many newspapers in Brazil. They're all online, and you can use even Google to translate. I would really recommend you to do that.
Yeah, will you be
because things happen, and some things are true, some things are not true.
But you would agree that there's been corporate expansion into the clearing of rainforest?
Corporate expansion?
Yes, that corporations are burning down the rainforest.
No, you're absolutely wrong.
You believe that these are naturally caused fires? That there's no human intervention at all?
No, but humans, in reality, small entrepreneurs, they're not big. There
are no multinational corporations or conglomerates
no.
that Bolsonaro has direct ties to in Canada.
Come on.
Why are countries in Europe trying to put out the fires?
Canada's trying to help as well.
Everybody's help. But even in Europe, fires happen. Look at what happened in Portugal last year.
Offering Brazil
Or this
money
year.
to help them put out
No, of
the
course,
fires.
of course. Yes, and
So
we welcome.
let's accept that money. Let's make sure that these fires get extinguished as soon as
remember
possible.
The indigenous people, they're not trained on computers. They only have human trafficking to support them, prostitution, alcoholism. That's all they got. If they lose their land,
Look. Brazil is an example of sustainability in the world. It is. God bless you. Goodbye. Thank you.
Do you see this movement as escalating?
Well, it's definitely becoming more militant and more publicly acceptable to stand against all government structures that allow for the sixth mass extinction to continue to take place. We found ourselves in a position where we are literally destroying what is colloquially been known as the Earth's lungs, and we're accelerating the already problematic climate change issue. Yeah. So,
Do you see this movement as escalating?
Yes. What? This right here? Yes.
Yeah.
This movement. Yes. I'm part of Extinction Rebellion, where we're having giant protests all over the world. We're having one here in Atlanta, the 27th. There's going to be one in New York, the 20th, and more all over the world the entire week, the entirety of that week. So it will keep on growing, especially as more climate catastrophes keep occurring. More people will wake up, because some people only wake up when it happens, when things happen on their doorstep. So no one's protected. Everyone's involved.
Do you see this movement as escalating?
It has to. We have no other choice. We've done essentially nothing of consequence since we've known about this issue. And so it's escalated to the point of crisis, to the point where within the next few years we need to completely change the way that we live. And I believe, and Extinction Rebellion has shown that direct action is the only chance that we have to raise the alarm to the point that people are paying attention and willing to make the sacrifices that need to be made, because otherwise we're facing mass starvation, we're facing rising temperatures, rising seas, a virtually uninhabitable planet where not only are other species threatened, but human life itself is threatened. And so, yeah, we have no choice but to escalate until the job is done.
Do you see this movement as escalating?
Yes, I think so. I think the awareness of the importance, well, first of all, of the fact of environmental degradation and global warming is really growing and spreading to circles in which it hasn't been present in the past. So I think it's going to continue to grow, and particularly as we experience the results and the consequences of global warming.